Dear fourth-year students, this video is the final part of the topic English-speaking countries. Australia, South Africa and New Zealand will be the last countries to analyze. Australia is one of the largest countries in the world. Located in the southern hemisphere, it is the smallest continent. Its location around the Tropic of Capricorn predetermines the country to be very dry, and vast areas in the interior are the deserts. The capital of Australia is Canberra, while Harbour Bridge or the Opera House are the major attractions in the largest Australian city known as Sydney. Melbourne, Brisbane and Perth are the largest cities, as well as Adelaide. Australia is typical for spectacular and unique fauna and flora, be it the kangaroo, the flightless bird emu, or the platypus, the endemic species typical for Australia. Boomerang was developed by the Aboriginals, the original inhabitants of Australia. This country was discovered by James Cook in the 18th century, and since that time it has been a part of the British Empire. Nowadays, the independent country is a part of the Commonwealth of Nations. Therefore, Queen Elizabeth II is officially the head of the country. Great Barrier Reef attracts thousands of surfers from all around the world, thousands of scuba divers and sunbathing lovers from all over the world because it is the largest living organism on the planet. Ayers Rock, located in the center of Australia, is said to be the sacred rock for the Aboriginals. Today it is abolished to go there to climb on the sacred rock, but it represents one of the major natural spots, natural symbols of Australia. We will continue with the country located also in the southern hemisphere, in the southernmost tip of the African continent, the most economically developed country. South Africa was a part of British Empire, a part of British colonial system for several hundreds of years. This is the flag of the Republic of South Africa. Its coat of arms, its symbol, reflects the colors and the traditions of this part of the world. With its area of more than 1 million kilometers squared and population with more than 50 millions, this country is one of the most populous of the continent. The official languages spoken here include the Afrikaans and English as well. Besides the two ones, other native languages are also officially spoken in the Republic of South Africa. It is a parliamentary constitutional republic, therefore the head of state is Mr. Jacob Zuma. Do you know what is the capital of South Africa? It's quite complicated, because it does not comprise the only one capital. Its executive, judicial and legislative power is divided into 3 locations, be it Pretoria, Bloemfontein and Cape Town. This slide displays the provinces of the Republic of South Africa. We can see the original names right here. Just for instance, the Limpopo province is well known for its Kruger National Park. Concerning the religious structure, the country is mostly Christian. However, the Muslims, the Hindus or the Jews also live in this country. Its geography is very diverse because its location between the two oceans, the Atlantic and the Indian, predetermines the country to be the surfers' paradise. The surfers from all over the world come here annually, all year round, thanks to its temperate climate and very regular high waves. The grasses, low shrubs, the acacia trees, but also the baobab trees are typical for South Africa. When mentioning the history of this large country, during the 15th century it was the Portuguese navigator, the Portuguese sailor Bartolomeu Dias, who arrived to the shores of the Cape of Good Hope. Later on, during the 19th century, vast reserves of diamonds and gold were discovered here. There were two wars between the Boers and the British, but later on, after all that conflicts, in 1961, South Africa declared independence. Years 1948 to 1991 should be remembered in the world's history as the years of apartheid, racial oppression of the whites. The first black president who was elected in the democratic elections, the first black president in the history of South Africa was Nelson Mandela, who became the president in 1994. The economy of South Africa is based on mining and agriculture. Mining of diamonds or gold and plantations of corn and sugarcane represent the basis of the primary industry. Secondary industry, however, is composed of engineering, metallurgical industry, food processing, or textile. Cape Town is displayed on this picture as it's skylined with the Table Mountain behind, great sandy beaches, and thousands of penguins that can be the real and typical picture of Cape Town's beaches. Pretoria is an inland city and one of the capitals. Bloemfontein as well, its densely populated area covers approximately 1 million people. The symbols of South Africa represent the springbok or the blue crane. In reference with plants, it is King Protea or the baobab tree, so typical, so well known for South Africa. The culture reflects the industrial and agricultural traditions, be it the vineyards, soccer, rugby, or cricket, as the legacy of the former British Empire. In 2010, Republic of South Africa hosted the World Soccer Cup. The famous people who come from this country include Sasha Peters, Mr. Tolkien, who wrote the trilogy of The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings, Mrs. Theron, or Mr. Barnard, besides many others. One of the greatest natural spots is presented by the Kruger National Park in the northeastern section of the country. The elephants, the lions, the hyenas, and a lot of other animals live in this area. You can be accommodated directly in the wilderness, enjoying the sunset over the African landscape. The Durban beachfront is one of the most popular beach resorts in the whole country. The Robben Island is spectacular because of its unique fauna and flora. Nelson Mandela was once imprisoned on this island. Clyde River Canyon Nature Reserve is another natural symbol, natural spot worth visiting. The Wild Coast attracts thousands of surfers, as previously mentioned, thanks to the high and regular waves in the area where the two oceans meet. This is the quotation of Mr. Mandela, the first black South African president, that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. So let's keep his words and let's point at the last English-speaking country. As well as the previous presentations, this one was developed by our former students during the previous years. New Zealand is an island country located on the tip of the known world. With its total area approximately 5 times larger than the total area of Slovakia and very similar population, the government functions from Wellington, the capital of New Zealand. The political system is a unitary parliamentary constitutional monarchy. Therefore, as well as in case of Canada, Australia, it is the Queen Elizabeth II who is the real head of the country. The official languages include the two ones, not only English, but the Maori language as well. The Maori population is the original one. Here, on this slide, there are pictures displaying Wellington, the capital, Christchurch, one of the cities most seriously hit by the earthquake several years ago, and Auckland, one of the best cities to live in. The geography of New Zealand is predetermined by its location in the South Pacific Ocean. The west shores are washed by the waters of the Tasman Sea, and the country is composed of the two islands, be it the North Island and the South Island. It is very hilly, mountainous country with the highest hill named after Captain Cook, Mount Ruapehu is one of the highest volcanoes in the area. Its rivers include, for example, the Waikato River, which is one of the longest. The lakes are amazing. The Blue Lake, Lake Matheson, and other are of spectacular sceneries. The climate in New Zealand is predominantly temperate. The driest place in this country is Christchurch, and the wettest is Wellington. Its economy is based on agriculture, fishing, forestry, and modern technologies like IT. Tourism is very important due to the expenditures of the visitors. The movie industry or wine production have a great potential to develop. The famous people coming from New Zealand comprise Mr. Peter Jackson, who was the director of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The young singer Lord, Richard Pearse, the constructor of the first aircraft, or the famous actor Russell Crowe. All these come from New Zealand. The places which are worth mentioning, which are worth visiting, include the Sky Tower in Auckland, the Tokata Walks, or Te Puia in Rotorua, thanks to magnificent geysers. That's all, my friends. The topic English-speaking countries was analyzed in the last 3 videos. I wish you all the best.